Okay, thank you. So now I call to order the Housing Authority of the County of Monterey Finance Development Committee meeting. It is 5:01, and let's start with the Pledge of Allegiance. Gabby, can you lead us, please?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America,
and to
for which it stands one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Let me see, moving on to a roll call, please.
Commissioner Gama,
Present.
Commissioner Healy,
Present.
Commissioner Booter,
Present.
Okay, it looks like we have quorum. Thank you. Do we have any comments from the public?
No.
Okay, thank you for that, Gabby. Okay, so moving on to the approval of the minutes of the Finance Development meeting held on November 21st, 2022.
I move approval.
I second that.
Thank you. So we have a first and a second. Roll call, please.
Commissioner Gama,
Yes.
Commissioner Healy,
Yes.
Commissioner Booter.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. Moving on to new business, the authorization of the semi-annual write-offs of bad debt for the Salinas family rest.
So this is Jose on? Yes. So I think this is the last one of the write-offs. Is that correct, Jose?
Tori, yeah, that's 802.
Okay, this is the last one.
It's
Again.
we're still missing 803. We couldn't get all the data entry
Okay.
by 5 o'clock today. We worked over the weekend to try to get it done, but it was just impossible. So we're still working on 803. We should have that done probably by Wednesday, and we can bring it to the board on the board meeting. But I couldn't get that data done on 803. It's only 802 on this one.
Okay. So this is almost the last one, commissioners, of the write-offs related to the RAD transition. And we've got one more to do that we hope will be finalized by the board meeting. It's gone through the same process, and we're happy to answer any questions.
I had a quick question. How is this going to relate ultimately to the audits? So now that this piece is cleared up, are we going to be able to get all of those audits done? Kind of.
So this is helpful with the audits. The audits, I was just informed this past week, it does not seem like it is going to happen, so that the audits are not going to be finished by 12/31.
Okay. And what are the implications of that, if any?
So the biggest implication is with Chase at Parkside 1. They have been the investor that has held us most accountable for these late audits. And it could be that they would no longer process draws until the audits are done. So we would not have access to the construction loan. And so we would have to self-fund it until such time that the audits were done, and then we could reimburse ourselves from the construction loan. The most recent audit being done, we just got notice from HUD that the most recent audit was past due, and that could place the Housing Authority in troubled status. But I'd been surprised that they hadn't already been placed in trouble status, because they haven't had audits done in some time.
Okay. So I guess what's our sort of like updated timeline to get these things done? Do we think like January or?
I'm not sure that I got an updated timeline. I don't know, Zulika, if you got more of a updated timeline.
Well, I'm planning on talking to the auditors this week because I've been talking to Kim and talking to finance. And then I've also included Nick from BDO. They were helping with some of the trial balances. And I want to try to expand their role in this after talking to the auditors so that we can set some dates to have this completed. Because from what I've been told right now, we really sending in files, but the audit is probably over, I don't know, it might take another month or two to get all of this completed, depending on exactly where they're at. And so I'm planning on calling the auditors and going over the list with them. Because the 2020 pretty much have just started being done. They're sending in the files, but all the financial information that have not been sent in yet. So it's kind of hard to say without talking to Kim. I'll be talking to her when she gets back Wednesday, and then we're gonna put a definite timeline in place. But it's not gonna be soon. There's no way it's gonna be done. I wouldn't even say by the end of January from where it's sitting at now. But once I talk to the auditors, maybe they have some information that I don't have, you know, some more things may have been submitted and just seem like they haven't. So then I could give you a better answer. But from just looking right now, it'd probably be February before they really finish with 20 and 21.
Got it. So the immediate thing that's holding us up is getting these last file audits done on the RAD properties. And then at that point, it's just however long it takes to finish the audits themselves.
The RAD, I think it's an important piece, but I don't think it's really the major part that was kind of holding it up, because they got a lot of financial data that they need to clean up, a lot of ledgers and reconciliations and things like that that have got to be done. So once that's done, this will help, but it's just one piece. I don't see this as, you know, really just holding up the whole audit. I think they just need to put a strategy together and talk to the auditors and kind of see what really they have and how to process it to get it there. Because a lot of the team too, they knew. So when I've been talking to them, they said this is their first time really working on an audit like this.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I guess Zulika, if you could kind
So
of
I'm gonna push it along.
yeah, I was gonna say if you could bird dog that and just you know, we don't want to lose any time. My impression was that this was what was holding us up, but if that's not the case, then you know, obviously trying to push it forward would be great. So
Yeah, no, I'm gonna try to like I said, I'm gonna talk to Kim when she get back and talk to the auditors, confer with Tor on a couple of things. But I just think we need a good strategy to get it done. The file side, they working on that. Maria sending her files, finance sending their files, but then they also have to send the reconciliations and things like that. So we just need to break that down into a plan. So once I talk to them, I'll touch back bases and let you know, and we'll try to expedite it as soon as we can. But it's really at the beginning stages as far as the financial work.
got it. Okay, thank you.
My only question is, are the finance reports, are they a calendar year or fiscal year?
Fiscal year.
Okay, so will this be done when it's time to report for July?
Well, from what I've seen, they'll have the 20 and the 21 will be done in the early part of 2023. But as soon as they get through with that, it'll be time to start working on 2022. So probably, like I say, the first 2 months of 2023 to catch up, and then start getting prepared for the 2022 fiscal year end. And now, Tori, some of the nonprofits is HDC it's on a calendar year, right?
HDC's June. It's June as well.
It's in June too?
Yes.
Okay. But then that'll be, it'll put it on track. So they, like I say, the first part of the year, January, February, 2021 ought to be finished in that time frame, if not sooner, depending on the upcoming meetings. And then after that, start getting ready for 2022.
Okay, that makes sense. Thank you for clarifying. Is there any other questions or anything else that needs to be added? Okay, hearing none. Do we need to approve this new business?
It's just approving it for submission for the main board.
Okay, do we have an approval?
I'll move approval of this item.
I'll
Thank
second.
you. Okay, thank you. Okay, do we need a roll call?
Commissioner Gama,
Yes.
Commissioner Healy,
Yes.
Commissioner Booter,
Yes.
motion carries.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. So that's going to the full board for Monday's meeting. Moving on to the information, the finance report.
So Kim is on vacation. Did someone else from the finance department sign on, or should I pinch hit? All right, pinch hitting. So we kind of talked about the big item that the audits are not going to be done by 12/31. The audits are being finalized for the FLCs and Pueblo Del Mar. And I think everyone has been working hard on getting this RAD reconciliation done. And it sounds like we're very close to getting the last one done in time for the board. The numbers that you see in the report do not include the latest payroll entry. We had recently fulfilled the payroll position, and the payroll itself has happened and has happened timely, but the journal entries from the payroll have not. So just take that into account as we look at these balance sheet numbers and budget numbers. And I'm happy to try to answer any questions.
Okay, I don't have any questions. Thank you. Are there any questions for the finance report? Okay, hearing none, moving on to the development and property management report.
Good afternoon, everybody. Only a couple of things I'd like to add. We've got, well, lease up at Parkside is going really well. 52 units leased. They're expecting another 15. Property management's doing really well. We have our weekly lease up meetings with them. I'm prepping, working on our last contractor draw. Like Tori mentioned, not sure how that's going to go with the status of our audits, but I've still got paperwork to finish up, so we'll be working on that. I do still have a submittal out to the city for the security gates for the buildings. The city had us submit a separate application for that, so that's still outstanding work that will need to be completed by the general contractor. And then we're prepping for our grand opening on the 19th of January. Over at Tynan, just 2 more items left to complete. I talked to our general contractor and they've reached out to a local sub on the handrails. They're subs from the Bay Area, just can't get them down here to finish up that work on building A. So hopefully the local sub that we have contact with can finish that up for us. And then there's one more deck repair that needs to be finished. With the rain, it kind of slowed it down a bit. So I'm hoping that'll get back on track within the next couple of weeks. And then the repairs that Zumwalt is finishing up, they're down to just a couple more out at Castroville, and Hacienda's 3 1 unit. And that's going to get finished up next week on the 19th. They're back out here. And then the last thing I wanted to mention, our Tynan commercial space. I know we talked about it last board meeting. I do have a bit of good news to report. Our tenant approached us with a request for an additional 6 months on his lease. He has new cooks and a new manager and would like to, try again for 6 months. So talked with Tori and Zulika, and we went ahead and did an amendment to their lease. So they're still open. So we've still got a tenant for 6 months, which is great. And then I've got a potential tenant, a local barber shop that's in business now that's looking to relocate. So hopefully I can lease out in the next, maybe 4 to 6 months, one of our empty spaces. He's looking for the 900 square foot space. So I'll keep you posted on that as time progresses. And Jose, if you want to add anything.
Yeah, I just want to add that we are also working currently on rent studies for a couple of our properties, EFLCs, Portola Vista. Portola Vista, we should be receiving that in the next week. That's for the OCAF that is going to be effective in February of the coming year. We're also starting to prep our tax credit AOCs that need to be completed. And we're working also to get the AR completed. That's been a big project for us. And we're also going to start the next big project for property management, which is the scanning of all tax credit files. Tax credit requested that we scan each file for each year that the property has been in service. So it's going to be a monumental task because we have to scan each file for each tenant, maintain a repository of electronic files as well as the physical files. So that's going to be a very time-consuming project for our department. As we also get prepped for the beginning of the year reporting with demographic reporting for tax credit, OCAP rent adjustments, and multiple projects that we're working on. So we're busy. And I want to take the time just to officially thank my staff that they've actually been working really hard. All of the managers, they've been helping supervisors. And I just want to take this opportunity to thank them. But other than that, everything else is in the report, unless anybody else has questions.
Great, thank you, Jose. I don't have any questions. Does anybody have any questions for the development property management report?
I was just curious about, like, on the development side, whether we've had any, new opportunities come through in terms of RFPs or, new sites that you guys have been kicking around. Just curious if there's anything that you guys have been working on.
I mean, there's nothing new. I think we've told the board about the site that we refer to as parcel B. That's that 5.5 acres. And then we've been in discussions with the city for the site near the Teamsters headquarters that would require relocating the Teamsters. And beyond that, I haven't been privy to any other development opportunities being floated around. Carolina, have they floated anything to you?
No, that's it. And I mean, we haven't moved forward with spending any money until Kim and I have gone through and looked at, done all our developer fee payables that are still outstanding.
Okay, thanks.
Any other questions? Okay, as I'm hearing none, I'm going to move on to the commissioner comments. Let's start with Commissioner Reader.
Yeah, I mean, I think just making sure those audits get done, I would always being able to prefer to stay out of troubled status. So, I think just making that a priority is going to be important. And I guess, Zulika, if there's any resources that you need from the board or anything, let us know.
Okay, thank you. Commissioner Healy, any comments?
I think I would say welcome to Zulika. It's nice to meet you over the Zoom meeting. I'm looking forward to meeting you in person. And thank you very much to you and Tori and Jose and Carolina and everyone who contributed to the information for today's meeting. Thank you.
Great, thank you. And I will just echo what my fellow commissioners have said. Welcome, Zulika, and then congratulations to everybody. You know, I know the RAD, it has been a long time coming, and we can finally see the light at the end of that tunnel. And with that being said, I will adjourn the meeting, and it is 5:22.
Have a good
All right,
night.
everybody, have a great night.